Hello everyone, welcome to another speedrun episode against Jose Raul Blanco, rated almost 1300, who does this E3 B3 weird setup. So we're just going to take the center and ignore what he's doing. He fianchettos and hits our pawn. It's very natural to develop a piece while defending towards the center. Now he goes for double fianchetto. We faced double fianchetto a few times on different speedruns, and they've never posed a problem. And I don't expect this one to either. So he creates lots of light square holes because he played E3 and G3. I'm just going to develop another piece, very standard. Okay, he brings out a bishop. You could develop either of your bishops, of course. I'm going to throw in H5 though. He gave two different hooks that I can attack with my rook pawns at any time. His threat up's non-threatening, so I can do whatever I want. So he just develops his knight. He's not forced to castle kingside. So I'm going to make a developing move now. Just bishop towards the center. Now he castles kingside. I know where his king is. So H5 will definitely be useful now that his king is here. So I don't see a reason to develop this bishop when my goal and plan is to play and open up his kingside. Making a bishop move just to say you developed is kind of meaningless. I'd rather develop it with purpose or for free. So I'm going to try to rip open Jose Raul's king. And my bishop is aiming at the G3 square along with the pawn. Now we could develop the bishop and then try to create a battery with the queen so we can remove his defender. But let's see what he does. He definitely should not take. So he makes a very passive pawn move. He doesn't strike out at our center. He's just trying to develop his knight here. This is really bad. He's letting us do what we want. He's giving us all the time in the world. And here comes H takes G. And we get to open up our rook with force, getting the turn back. So he takes with the F pawn to try to open up his rook a little bit, which is fine. But now you can see that we can develop our bishop in one go if we want. Because the battery is 1, 2, 3 moves, the bishop is just one move. The thing is, if he takes, you're not going to have your queen there, you're going to have your rook there. But even so, I mean, it's not a bad thing. So what do we want to do exactly though? He takes with the F pawn. This weakens the dark squares. You could put a bishop or a knight on this square too. If we put a knight here, we're hitting this pawn as well as this threat. How does he defend that? I mean, it undefends the center, but this threat's huge. He has this, so here he gets a pawn, I get a pawn, hit the queen. He gives me a check. I just move my king, I don't know, up. He moves his queen. I could even just take the bishop, the full bishop. Oh no, the bishop's here. I could take the rook. That looks good. Alright, I'm going to put my knight here. Because my knight just moved out of the way, I have queen g5 ideas, depending on what he does as well. So you had different moves here, different alternatives, ways to attack. But here I'm attacking pawns as opposed to ripping open the king per se. I mean, yes, this is pawn cover, but it's really just for the double threat. So he moves his knight. which double attacks the pawn that was already hanging, but doesn't defend the main threat. Maybe he only looked at this and thought I would take, but this is stronger. Just you don't need to take, attack his king if you can take a central pawn. Just take a central pawn. He goes here threatening checkmate in 1, but everything's hanging. So let's take the rook just to remove the checkmate, win material, and now the game is over. His queen is here and we're ready to develop our pieces. All we need to do now is trade. He took with the king, which lets us force an endgame at the cost of a pawn. But since we're up a pawn and an exchange, we'll just give it to him, say we're up the exchange. And if he takes this pawn, maybe there's other pawns, but he also has pawns, so at the end of it all, we'll still be up the exchange, right? Okay, so he does take a pawn. There's also this, so we can improve a piece for free and then take free stuff, which might just be better than taking free stuff in and of itself. Because it might force, how's he going to defend it? Here? Takes, you can win a pawn. I don't know, I'm going to throw it in, it's free, it's an improving move, it prepares c6 hitting the bishop and preventing knight coming in. It's a good move and trades are good for the side who's up the exchange. Okay, so he moves his knight, which threatens a check and a trade. And the pawn. But I'm going to get another exchange because rooks are way stronger than knights in the endgame. And we picked up a pawn on the way. He gives us a check, we just have to move our king somewhere. This hits the knight, so let's get the turn back. And he can't go here and check us, which is nice. His rook's hanging, his pawn's hanging. We can develop with a threat. We can also go c6. So I'm showing you everything that I'm keeping track of so you get an idea of what I'm looking at. He moves the knight away and defends the pawn, but the knight's hanging. So we don't take the rook because it has nowhere to go. My opponent proposes a take back, I give it to him. Because maybe he thinks that this game is competitive, right? That maybe he has his chance, but in reality, there's no chance for white here, especially with this guy hanging. So he goes back to a more reasonable square, but this is only a trade. Since the rook isn't going anywhere, you don't have to take it on this turn. But I don't even want to bother looking for other moves because I'm just so winning. He goes here. I'm going to just throw in this move, so when I develop my bishop, nothing's hanging. Just a free move. I mean, why not? I wasn't even doing it with the idea of it being trapped, but now that I'm looking, he did put his knight here, and it does happen to trap the bishop. That wasn't my intention, though. He could take this bishop, yeah, to free a square, but maybe... Do I have a move? I think I'm going to take this to force everything off the board. And this is really bad for him because he thinks by doing this operation that he saved his piece, but he actually still loses the piece because he had all of this alignment. So he doesn't trade. He takes the pawn to defend, which is also weird. Completely losing. And it hits our rook. So let's move our rook, take free stuff, and now his king can't get in the game. That's the last thing you want to happen to you in an endgame. That's why activating the king is so important. He once again forgets about my bishop, hangs the same piece on the same diagonal to the same piece. And then hangs another piece. Let's double attack so that he loses something. We're up 8 points of material. He should definitely resign. We're up 11 points of material. He should resign. Let's get our last piece in the game for free. And now I would cut off the king, but my bishop's in the way. But he loves hanging knights to my light square bishop. So let's set up a ladder checkmate. I don't care about my bishop. I'm just setting up a ladder. And there's checkmate. So don't protect pawns and pieces when you're just checkmating the guy and it's over. Like, it doesn't matter if he takes your bishop. So let's go through the game. He plays something weird. I have no theory against it, so we start from scratch, right? And that's what real chess should be anyways, starting from scratch. Who wants to play against someone's, like, when you play against someone's memorization, you're just playing stockfish. You're not playing the person. And of course stockfish is better. So we have all zeros, 97, so great way to fight the double Fianchetto. This time we had black. So we put 2 pawns in the center because he allows it. No better way to start a chess game. So we develop, center, and defend. We develop, center, and proactively defend. Now you could do a number of moves here, but h5 is one of those moves. If I turn on the engine, okay, bishop f5, bishop d6, bishop g4, and h5 are the top 4 moves. Basically all the same. So you see, it is an idea. I didn't just make it up. So I chose the aggressive h5. I mean, you should know by now what my plan is. We're going to tear it open. He develops the knight, and the computer says, just tear it open right away. I developed a piece first to aim at that square, just to try to get him to commit. I don't want to scare him away. Like, if you play h4 super fast, a human opponent might say, you know what, maybe I'll go queenside, right? So I waited a turn, developed, and it says it's minus 1.7. So basically losing for white. And it looks like, why is he losing in? That's because the center is all mine. And you know what happens when they challenge it after the fact. Then I get to push past, block one of the bishops, have a space advantage, and he just gets crunched. So yeah, it only gets worse for him from here. So now we try to rip open the position and get our rook to be super powerful. And you see his only move is to strike out at our center immediately, which I mentioned he didn't do when he did play d3. He plays d3, I said he's not very striking at our center immediately, which he should do. And that gives us a free hand to do whatever we want. It's minus 3 now, completely crushed. He has to take back one way or another. This way, I get what he's doing with the rook, but it creates a weakness that kind of just game ending. So I go in, and the game is pretty much over, positionally, tactically. He just tries to improve a piece, but he hangs free stuff, and now just a consolidating, forcing move, forcing the queen trades into a completely winning endgame. Even though you can see I'm hanging pawns on purpose in order to get the queen trade, it's minus 3.5. So it's not a relevant factor. That's why I'm doing it. So he takes, and we improve a piece for free. It's almost minus 5. Free stuff for free. Force move. Free stuff. Improving move for free. And kind of trapping it, because even if he goes down this line, he takes my bishop. I take his bishop. He gets his knight out with my bishop. I take his thing. No matter which king, which knight, or which bishop he moves, when I go to the back rank next, 2 of those 3 things will still be there. The only thing he could do, I guess, would be to cover that square with here. Then I couldn't go to the back rank, so that's interesting. Then I could hit the bishop. He could maintain. So maybe, I mean, it's minus 5, but maybe he can actually save the piece. In any case, he's obviously lost. I'm just kind of curious. Let me go down that line. Okay, they're saying just take the pawn. Oh, because it hits the rook too. But that's a mating net. So takes, puts. Okay, so yeah, he doesn't lose the piece, but he almost gets mated at -7, so it's all the same. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, he doesn't do it. He protects. I thought he no, he took with his bishop here. Oh, he did it here. Okay. So he takes the bishop to try to save his piece. I'm forced to take back. Right. I took back the bishop to try to go down that line. But then here he doesn't take my bishop, he takes the pawn. Which is weird. So I just take free stuff and then the game's just over. Hang stuff, hang stuff, hang stuff. It's all just junk from there. So you've seen it time and time again. Do not try this double fianchetto thing. It's too idealistic and naive. You can't just give up the center and hope that your bishops are just gonna, like, if it was that easy to just make your bishops super powerful, put them on the best diagonal, everyone would just do that every game. But that's not how it works. So good luck in your chess and goodbye.